fist balled up, meaning someone's about to get knocked out. Okay. What's up, Electro Fam? It's your boy Tony the Toy Rat, back with another rigorous resin review for new PVC pre-used or previewed. In this one, is another pre-used. But the secondary market is really important, so pay attention because you can always save a bunch of money on that. So with no further ado, it is my pleasure to unbox The Dark Knight Returns Batman and Robin from Diamond Select Toys. Let's get it. Alright, collector fam, we're unboxing this. The Dark Knight Returns Batman and Robin, which is directly out of the Frank Miller miniseries. Guys, if you're not reading the books, you're missing a lot. Yeah, the movies are great. Yeah, the toys are awesome, but the books are where it's at. This is a Frank Miller series, The Dark Knight. They made several parts afterward. I would sincerely recommend you taking a peek. So we'll leave that there for you guys who are interested in seeing what that book looks like if you want to go get the cover. But that is what this statue is here to represent. Now, in this world where we're about to unbox, Batman has been retired for 10 years or so. And he comes back. What does he come back for? Well, there's a gang called the Mutants. And they're terrorizing Gotham City. So, with his aging body, he goes out into the city to try and reclaim his mantle of the Dark Knight. Now, the Robin you're about to see is a girl. Now, we're going to get more into that in just a minute. But first, let's unbox this sucker. So let's go. Again, don't need my handy-dandy scalpel tool. I would normally tell you guys, open this up, send back the information to Diamond Select Toys. But for those of you who are in the know, you already know Diamond Select Toys has been bought out by NECA. Now, this box does have some Batman symbology on it, as you guys can see. But nothing like super cool, like I gotta keep the box type of thing. And, Alright. I'll set the plastic down here for a second, and I will show you guys the inside of that, because it does have the big bat. So if you're a box keeper, and you don't know what this statue's about, or you have a little dementia, and you're gonna keep it for that reason, just understand this is more about the display of the product inside it, so we don't really need it. Just go ahead and recycle. Now, we're going to crack open this suction cup, which has already been done for us to some degree. Alright, and because we love the earth, we will continue to try and do the things that help it the most, which, recycling. Do it! Alright, woohoo! Let's take a look at this Batman and Robin. Had to sit down for it. This looks just like what I would expect it to look. There are some dust issues on this thing here, but take a look at that. That's cool. You hear the music in your head. Alright, we're going to set this sucker down right here, and I know what you all are interested in, and that is the full body spin. So stop talking about it, you toy rat, and get to it. Huh? We're back, collector fam, and we're taking a look at the Frank Miller version of The Dark Knight. For those of you who hadn't had an opportunity to read the book, as I said earlier, it's a fantastic read. That's why they keep making more of them. And Batman is a fascinating character altogether. But beyond that, what we're looking at is a depiction of an older Batman. Now, I mean, they probably could have went a little further with some of the aging of his face on the statue, just to give you that full depiction that he is much older than you guys are accustomed to seeing him. And I think that maybe be a slight failure, but you look at some of the ways, even though they didn't do that with the face, so like some of the way the cape and the cowl run, and it just seems like there's age on the costume as well, even though you don't see a lot of spots and things like that. But I love that, and it looks just like the comic book. So let's start where we always start, because it's the most important part. Because if the character doesn't look like the character, then there ain't no reason to make a purchase. So it's the portrait. The portrait. We always talk about the portrait first. Long story short, it's Batman and it's Robin. So they nailed the portrait. Ding! 3 cheeses. Remember, you can only go as high as 3 cheeses in the Toy Rat scale. So 3 cheeses on the portraits. Costuming is always next. We're going to breeze through this one. It's Batman. It's Robin. They are classically costumed, and I don't think we need to waste your time or mine going over what. Excuse me. This looks like the depiction from the Frank Miller series of The Dark Knight. This book. So, again, go see it. Or go buy it. Pick it up, read it. It's great. So we went over the portrait, and we went over the costuming. Now, let's take a look at the pose. Is it a dynamic pose? Yeah, that's a pretty dynamic pose. Robin has her, and I will talk about her in just a minute. Robin has her slingshot in her hand. She has the new goggles, which are the green glass goggles, which is a stark departure from any of the Robins that you've seen in the past. But she is on her hind legs there, in a crouching pose, with Batman sort of in a lunge forward capacity, getting with his full fist balled up, meaning someone's about to get knocked out. Okay. Anyway, to me, extremely dynamic. This is not just museum quality. They're standing on top of, I want to say it's a roof base somewhere because of the stacks here, which are usually for ventilation's sake, but this roof doesn't have any kind of fencing, so I'm not entirely sure where they are. Obviously, the top of a building, and something has happened in the background here to cause this smoke to be rising. I don't think this is supposed to be reminiscent of fog, so I'm not entirely sure. And in that, we are talking now about the actual diorama. So, 3 cheeses on the portrait, 3 cheeses on our dynamic pose and costuming, and now we're talking diorama. Diorama, to me, leaves a little to be desired. Again, with the diorama, we're always thinking about one thing, and the most important thing in that setup is what? Right, tell me a story. I don't want to have to think about what's happening in this depiction. Now, I get it. I know what's going on. But do I know what's going on? You know what I mean? So, yeah, there's an action taking place in here. The question is, am I recalling a story? Am I trying to imagine what's happening in the before and the after here, which is, the suspension of disbelief, to get lost in the characters as they were. I don't think the diorama helps me personally a lot with that, but it's a nice size. It allows you to take a look at the 1/6 scale Batman and Robin on a rooftop and give you a full layout of everything from the cape and the cowl and a full depiction of their faces. So there really isn't a whole lot left, in terms of imagination. It is a Batman and Robin statue. Long story short, you know what I mean? So ultimately, that's what it's about. Now, it is a rather wide base, guys. So, just take a look at my hands here. We're looking about a good 8 inches across, about a good 8 inches. Just give it an 8-inch square easily. And then coming up from the base here to the top of the statue here is probably give it another 8. So if you had an 8-inch square, an imaginary cube, that is going to be what you need. It's not very heavy, but it sets really well. Because of the fact that it's a big square, we have all of these points to thank for its stability. It's not going to shake, wiggle, or wobble no matter where you put it. And unlike a lot of the other statues, it does have 2 characters at one time. So, applaud, applaud, applaud. I hate the fact that Diamond Select ever lost the right to do the DC characters. When I came into the world of reviewing, they had already moved on to the McFarlane universe and letting them, do as many Batmans as they could possibly do and ruining the culture. Excuse me, who said that? What? Not me. Okay. that being said, I've got basically a 3 cheese statue almost all the way around. I'm going to give it a 2 on the diorama because of the reasons I've already stated, but I'm going to say still, it's a damn cool statue, and I'm glad to have it. Now, this is Carrie Kelly, guys, for you who do not know the Batman lore to the nth degree. She is a teenage version of Robin. And she was not handpicked by Batman. Oh, no, no, no. She basically donned the costume and created it herself with the intent of becoming Batman's ward or helping him or becoming the new Robin. And winds up having to convince him in order to let him be a part of that universe with him, which she ultimately does by saving his ass when he's getting whomped by the leader of the gang, the mutants. In any case, she's proved herself on a number of different occasions after the fact, disarming bombs, helping with his main cast of rogue villains. So, Robin she is. And I don't know, I think Robin has sort of been a rather effeminate character throughout the ages anyway until he turned into Nightwing. It's just me. In any case, this is accurate from the story of the Dark Knight. You guys are going to really appreciate that if you can get a handle on it. Now, here's the big deal. You can pick these up right now. You can probably go to Amazon, and I'll put a link in the description for you. But they're $90. And this is why I want to say to you guys, respect the secondary market. This happened to be a Facebook Marketplace purchase. Shout out Avery. Thank you very much. They met me in the parking lot, and I wound up getting this statue for less than half the cost it would have cost me online. Shipping and all that wonderful stuff. And it's not in production anymore. As you know, Diamond Select Toys is now a part of NECA's universe, and we don't know exactly what they're going to do. But it's been out of production now for a while, so I'm the new owner. Yay! Too much. In any case, what I paid for it and what it costs online, I would tell you guys, go and see if you can find other collectors who are trying to upgrade or they're moving or whatever the case is, because that's when you can find your diamonds in the rough. So, this is Tony the Toy Rat for Batman and Robin from the Dark Knight series from Frank Miller, which is this book over here. For those of you who haven't read it before, I would encourage you to go pick up a copy of it. In any case, I, along with Batman, Robin, Frank Miller, DC, and everybody associated with this, am out. Go get you one. That's how we do around here. Batman, out.